LAVEGA go about preventing Dplus and their explosiveness? And I'll let you guys take it from here.
That's a good question. I think that, well, they are starting out on the attack here, LAVEGA, and so for them it's going to be about setting the tempo, exactly going into Clubhouse. We saw earlier that they really gave Dplus a lot of rain when they were defending. Dplus ran away with all the real estate that they gave them, but for LAVEGA, they need to be the ones that actually set the pace going into Clubhouse, clearing it out and doing the steps.
As we get into the operator veto, Mandy, not every day we get to see the double hard breach ban. Hibana is pretty common ban on club. The thermite as well, that's something else.
This is actually really interesting to me. If you ban out a thermite, right, it doesn't close off every single line of attack, but what it means is that it's going to be much more finicky to get those breaches that you can actually make an entry through, right? Yes, you can Maverick trick walls, but you can't really spend all your time Maverick tricking like triple wall, for example. You can't spend all your time Maverick tricking both CCTV and Jacuzzi wall for a gym attack or something like that, because it's just going to take so much time. I think that Thermite is one of those operators that when you combine it with the baby EMPs are super potent on Clubhouse, because you can create those big potential ways into the bomb site without too much effort. And so I think that we're really going to be leaning into that Ace. We're really going to be leaning to Maverick or some of the hard breach charges.
Ace and Maverick are the only two dedicated hard breach ops that you actually got left in the pool, right? So you either need to be good with them, or you need to have like a cracked strat for your secondary hard breaches. Maybe we'll see more of the secondary hard breach gadget in basement, but I'm talking about like these big walls. Like you mentioned, you really want the thermite for Jacuzzi, for CCTV, and Maverick. It's actually foregone in this round in favor of the Thatcher. Interesting strat. I was going to say Maverick, you know, it takes a long time to Maverick these walls. LAVEGA, if it takes too long to get the job done, breaching, then I do fear for them in actually taking map control and preparing for execute.
I actually think the thermite ban from Dplus Kia is kind of genius, to be honest. You take away such like a staple operator in the attacker lineup that it forces LAVEGA to do one extra finicky step of problem solving, and that's going to cut down the time on their attack to their own fault, right? Like Dplus Kia don't really need to do a whole lot because they already know that Clubhouse is going to be hard to open as it is, and with such a rookie roster like LAVEGA, they are going to struggle with that problem, right? So honestly, taking out Thermite, not a bad idea.
Yeah, we love to see it. Dplus really making LAVEGA uncomfortable out of the gate. As LAVEGA start to take a little bit of map control, it's Dimali on the first foot up through Garage. He drone himself though, you can see how cautious he is. He doesn't have a teammate's live drone ahead of him.
And Dimali, of course, is always the spearhead of LAVEGA. Like we said on the desk, he is involved in so many of those opening engagements, but he's going to be met by Harpo, who's playing on the other side of that server rack now, supported by a rotation hole back inside a con too, so playing a pretty conservative roam for them so far, and Dimali can open this up, try and play the entry, the line of sight, and Harpo's going to hold his ground.
Yeah, finally we have a breach as well on the CC wall, but it's not very much. I don't know what happened there. Was there an impact trick I didn't see? But only a single line of sight, and it's a very awkward one at that. This is not ideal for LAVEGA.
I think it would have been an impact trick. Yasa's used both of these impacts and was that top red player, so you could have come along and been able to disrupt that breach. Dimali now making his way through Harpo to meet him on the other side and supported by Yas.
It's going to have to be a gnarly entry for LAVEGA because they don't have a lot of the tools they would like otherwise to clear these players. ADS to protect Woogie. Dimali forced back by that goo mine of the Legion. On the entry, looking for a head to get ahead, but Harpo finds his. 5v4 now for Dplus as they are sitting comfortably here on this extension.
Well, Guard, though, taking some damage to an aggressive peek from the other side. Is that coded on the other side with the shotgun in hand? Yes, it is. Woogie now looking for that third engagement onto the CCTV breach, and Crown can trade one back at least now in a 4-on-1, though, for Dplus Kia.
Yeah, my code just jumping out the window. Disrespect is the name of Dplus as Soldier peeks outside of the con window. Crown goes down, and LAVEGA struggles continue here on Clubhouse.
That was actually filthy from Coded. Honestly, that is absolutely filthy what he's gone and done there. He stuck his head inside the gym window, pumped an entire shotgun in and gone, oh, he didn't die yet? And then just repeats it seconds afterwards once again. That is the sign of confidence from Dplus Kia when you have your anchors on the bomb site getting bored and going, it's about time I swung something. It's about time I get on the action in it.
I
And so
think that
now
the-
it's forcing LaVEGA. Now it's forcing LaVEGA to go and attack this basement bomb site instead. And well, Dev, we were talking about this before, but they really don't have a whole lot of hard breach to be able to go down onto this bomb site.
This is just, it's insult added to injury by Dplus. LAVEGA already battered down into their own shell after the 7-1 devastation that was Skyscraper. Now going onto their own map pick. This is where they're meant to feel at home. And of course, because Dplus has picked the defense and started the pace in this way, hit them with the curveball or the thermite ban, it's so hard for LAVEGA to feel comfortable on where they should feel very comfortable on their map picks. So for LAVEGA, they really need to get back on that horse as soon as possible, start to string together a couple of rounds, build up that confidence, because if not, this is going to be another flawless half for Dplus like we saw on map 1.
Now, if y'all have been watching Downworn Kia and now Dplus Kia for a while, you would know that Yas, he's a bit of a demon on that Valkyrie. He absolutely loves that operator, and that being left in on this map could be pretty scary for LAVEGA as they make their way through this early to mid round. Yas is going to have full awareness of exactly what they're planning for their execute. Keep in mind that because they have limited hard breach as well, whatever they try and do is going to be pretty telegraphed as well, right? You can only have so many ace hard breaches, either opening up the triple wall or choosing to open the hatches and going for a kitchen execute, right? So whatever LAVEGA are going to try and do, it's going to be very, very aware to Dplus Kia.
Funnily enough, the best hard breacher that LAVEGA actually have for their hatches is Buck, right? Because for Maverick, it takes a hell of a long time to open up any of those hatches. For Ace, you can only get 1.5 hatches. So I'm expecting this Buck to really be pivotal. No Kaid on the board, which does make that a little bit of an easier pill to swallow for LAVEGA. But 5 players on site, you can see Dplus are just sitting pretty. They're going to play this for the late game. They're forcing LAVEGA to go for this extension, this roam clear. But Yas also has info here. Is he going to peek this? The utter disrespect. This is Dplus, the dominant kings that we know them for.
And here we go. We just saw on Yas's point of view as well that he in fact has another drone inside of his bar position. So he's just seen Marine go and get on that hard breach charge, open up the moto hatch. Now with the skeleton key in hand, he can start to make use of that vertical, but just a minute left on the clock, Dev.
What do you do if you're LAVEGA? I mean, you've been sat on down, and now you've been embarrassed walking into a double cap can. Oh man, this is
4K too. Soldier totally saw that on a camera. Anyway. Sorry.
Oh really? Oh, this is just embarrassing. The hard breach affair is looking very sketchy. God hasn't even used his torch at all. Now finally, Crown is using his. I'm not sure what that's for. Wookie's been taken low, but he's going to retreat into dirt, which I don't believe has been breached. This kitchen hatch is finally open. 30 seconds remain.
Alright, kitchen hatch open. That means it's going to be a kitchen execute, but there's still 2 smoke canisters and those Yoko drones to deal with it.
And Aroma upstairs. Yas is sitting on the camera right now, taken out, but it might not be enough. 15 seconds now. In the 3v3, the Yokai is still up and alive. With Wookie Mad in dirt. Harper, the pivotal player here inside of blue. Looking to contest Church. Wookie's not going to get his drone there in time, and so the plant will go down. It's going to need to be a retake, and not an easy one at that. Soldier does have impact, but he's actually going to make the impact with his SMG. Marine, bottom main stairs. While Guard sits perched above the kitchen hatch. He is the player to cover, but outnumbered here. Still he hears that Yokai buzzing around. Dplus not overextending. 1 player to move on forward. Now 2 to cover, but here it is from Marine, perfectly playing it. And that is impossible now for Dplus, as Marine has done it all in the post.
Really nice from LAVEGA to make that execute work in the dying seconds of the round, and Marine perfectly positioned at the bottom of main stairs, exploiting the fact that Dplus Kia actually tried to go for a retake back through that ground floor. The fact that there was no one there inside of Moto, there was no one contesting long, no one even inside of blue, meant that he could sneak his way all the way down and be super disruptive as that execute came through. And for Dplus Kia, maybe just getting a little bit overconfident on that retake. Really, LAVEGA didn't have a whole lot of time left to go, but they really wanted to go for something special.
credit to LAVEGA for breaking the spell, getting a round on the board. And I think maybe that'll teach Dplus a bit of a lesson. Yas really did not need to go for that flank, for example. Did not need to get on his cams inside of bar. Bit of complacency slipping in, I think, for Dplus. And LAVEGA hopefully will get a bit of confidence on the back of that.
Now Dplus are going to go over onto CCTV and Cash bomb site instead. They're not going to look for a repeat onto that basement that we just last saw, and immediately setting up that castle to make a stronghold inside of the ground floor. We've got these long lines of sight open inside of Lounge, which is going to make that garage entry super hard once they go for it. Now LAVEGA, they have brought along the Montine, so it would indicate to me that they are looking for that garage presence, but they're going to have to be super careful as they go for the entry. Maybe they're going to need to take another step of that clear. They're going to have to clear out Lounge before they make their garage push.
Isn't it funny that we've seen so much buck DMR? Like, what is it? Has this got shadow buffed or something? I genuinely don't remember buck DMR being so much in the meta. We're actually seeing the Flores DMR as well. Yeah, it's weird,
I think it's
isn't
just
it?
Marine. He loves it. It's his thing, apparently.
Loves all the DMRs.
Oh,
no! So what did I say about DK getting taught a bit of a lesson? Apparently not, because Yas is still completely disrespecting LAVEGA. Still peeking here in front of the breach. This is utterly ridiculous.
Oh, but Marine could totally shut him down here. You might be able to drop that server window. Apparently not. Just is going to barricade it back up as the breach is going to get open as well. This man is so ambitious, and it's working.
Yeah, he does not give a damn. Now there's going to need to be another Rotero to clear. That's super awkward. Now finally the Mute Jammer down. But, okay, that Rotero still hasn't opened up the wall yet, so Marine's going to have to send another one in. One remains. And Yas has taken down a second kill. What?
And a third, apparently,
What?
as he decides to swing onto the breach as well. Yas, what on earth is going on? Can you tell us what? Oh my goodness, never mind. Damali instead able to walk up the garage stairs and immediately punishes the 2K that Yas was able to claim for himself.
Still numbers advantage for Dplus, but Yas is doing Yas things once again. A bit of aggro peeking, a bit of throwing, you know, keep it interesting. Woogie, Harper, and Coded are in a pretty strong position. They've got great info onto the player top garage. And here comes in another drone to spot out. Ooh, hello. Coded doesn't know, but he has been spotted.
Well, I think he's actually going to see him as he makes this execute in. There's this EP that's facing him. Not only that, but of course he's on his yokai as well. That is also facing the breach. So really, this LAVEGA push has been very much telegraphed, Dev.
The plan is going down. A flash to cover. Is there denial? Woogieman's holding out that C4 and an easy detonation. Marine now 1v2 with this DMR, but not going to work out. Woogieman saves the day after it got a little bit too close for comfort for Dplus.
It's just a strange round, Dev. The breach was getting open, and Yas had absolutely no fear. He was there, and he was like, you know, I can keep playing this server rack position, even with that server window open. There's no one on it just yet. They're all sitting on the roof. I'm just going to sit here and peek the breach, look through some holes, see what damage I can do. That was very back and forth through the mid-round, as LAVEGA eventually did get control of that garage position. But in the end, the rest of Dplus Kia players disciplined enough on the site to close it out.
I wonder if we're going to continue to see this level of ambition from Yas. I feel like the answer is yes. It's got to be.
Yas, even.
Yas, queen.
Hello.
Slay.
Absolutely lost it. We can never do this ever again on the broadcast.
No.
They're a gym bedroom, Dev. They're extending over on the other side.
So you're going to try and cast seriously? You're just going to pretend that never happened, are you?
I'm just going to pretend that never happens.
Okay.
I'm pretending that happened at all.
Well, LAVEGA's trying to pretend that map 1 never happened, but at the moment they've still only got one round. They haven't managed to get more than one round per map this series. I expect that to change sooner or later.
Sorry, I'm still losing my mind.
Be professional,
LAVEGA
man.
going to look for a map sweep, starting over on this CCTV and cache side of the map, dedicating all 5 of their players, it seems like, towards that garage side control.
And Maverick this time around. It's Thatcher and Ace combo, and got some tin can openers on the Ying as well. Marine's been a great player so far, but there's no DMR on Ying, so what's he going to do? Wow, devastating.
Oh no, he's going to try something different. LMG instead. Fair enough.
Yeah, from the DMR Andy to the LMG.
That ace charge going on the wall is going to get impact tricked once again from Boogeyman. Now, last round I said it was Yas, but it's some lying. Once again, it's Boogeyman playing on the top of red instead, and that is creating only what is a line of sight. It's not an entry hole for LAVEGA. And what that means is, yes, they can hold that server window if they want to rotate their plays over and play on that south balcony, but they can't really make an entry unless they dedicate another Selma to this breach.
Just once again, Dplus showing their experience and creativity, banning that thermite and having perfect counters to what remains. Second Selma is used, and I thought that was an impact, but no, just a goo mine. So Dplus happy for that breach to get open. Boogeyman doesn't use his second impact. Minute and a half left, but LAVEGA really have not made a lot of progress.
So keep in mind what this means is that when they do rotate those Selma charges onto the jacuzzi wall, it can only create a vault or a crouch hole. It can't be an entry hole. And when you want to go for that flood execute for that plant, that's typically the spot that you want to send your diffuser through, right? So they've dedicated quite a lot of resources to making this map sweep work instead by making this side of CCTV an entry hole. We can see the Ash of Damali making his way through, but still so many deep players who can test this side of the map.
And in they go. And in the Candelas go. But where is the opening? Boogeyman's going to have to stick his head inside this hole. Boogeyman is still holding on. Been droned out in a pinch. But looking to cover himself. Getting yellow pinged constantly, no doubt. And that is a perfectly timed peek from LAVEGA. They have that man advantage now, 5-3.
I mean, fantastic man advantage, great sweep that they've got going here, but their push is fully concentrated over on this con side. That jacuzzi breach is barely being opened, and there's only 20 seconds left to go.
All right, guys, you better be able to spring into action now, but Coded is very keen now with that shotgun. Spots the player, but can't swing as of yet. Caught out from the window, and it looks like LAVEGA might have something here. Yas traded on back. LAVEGA poised to take it. Soldier in a 1v4, but we have seen this work before. Not going to happen this time around. They recompose, and LAVEGA can tie the scoreline here on Clubhouse.
Good work from LAVEGA to punish the Dplus Kia players overstaying their welcome inside of CCTV and inside of Cash. Even though there were only a few dying seconds left to go, because they were able to clear them out and have such a strong man advantage in a 5-on-3, even though the push is linear, even though it's like a funnel through a doorway, through a bunch of windows, you're eventually going to have enough bodies to make it work regardless, right? Dplus Kia, if maybe they had fallen off early and played that 5v5 execute with only 30 seconds left to go, that might have been a different story, right? But them overstaying their welcome really cost them the round.
Yeah, quite the different pattern now, Mandy, we're seeing. LAVEGA have shown that despite starting on their attack, despite not having the thermite, they have some decent attacks onto both this basement and that gym site. So Dplus need to be extra careful now and not let this lead slip. It does feel like, to LAVEGA's credit, they have played well, but a lot of these rounds, Dplus have made some errors that we wouldn't typically expect of them. Hate to single him out, but Yas, as great as he is, he's definitely showing a lot of disrespect here and forfeiting his life in a lot of places where he shouldn't otherwise. So I wonder if he's going to reel it in.
Well, look, when you go for disrespect, you get punished. That's what happens. Yep. Sometimes you go for something aggressive like that. Now, once again, he is playing that Valkyrie, and what we saw from the previous attempt at this was he had all of his Valkyrie cameras inside of that ground floor to try and aid a retake, right? He wanted to know exactly when the LAVEGA players were not going to be looking at him, so he could run up a set of stairs and give them a real backstab. Look at that flank as they're going for the execute. This time, if he wants to do that, he needs to be a lot more disciplined, like you said. Otherwise, it might cost the anchors in the round, right? It might cost the anchors getting pushed out, because maybe they just don't have enough players on the site for a crossfire, or something like that.
I do love so, and I love the fact that LAVEGA is starting to really embrace these secondary hard breach. We now have 2 sets, plus the ace. No Thatcher, which is going to make things a little bit awkward because of the presence of Kaid here. So I don't know what the strat is here to deal with that. I mean, the kitchen hatch isn't too bad. You've got your fuse, you've got nades. But Dplus changing their tack is going to make it really awkward based on what LAVEGA have brought to the table.
Well, okay, maybe this is super over speculation, but with the fuse, they could potentially get this moto hatch open by placing that fuse charge as close as possible to that hallway that goes through 90 short. It's a bit hard to describe without this top down here, but if Guard places down his fuse charge, which goes from right to left or left to right, I can't remember which way it is, if it's horizontal, he might be able to get one of those pellets inside of Moto, which is exactly where Soldier is currently sitting with his Rotillio claws. But hang on a second, Damali's made his way all the way down the main stairs.
Okay, that was very unusual there. Coded punished for a late shield placement. And also Yas going down, as we've kind of talked plenty about Yas, so I'm sure you can figure out how that happened. And now here comes the fuse charge, and I think you might be right here. Yeah. It looks like that one was on Kitchen, but if he does save one, I'm like 99% confident that that would destroy the electrical core in Moto if placed right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he is, though. He's dedicating all his fuse charges to trying to clear this electrical on the kitchen hatch instead, which seems to be successful. Although there is only 30 seconds left, the man advantage for LAVEGA just seems to be far too much for Dplus Kia.
Alright, 2v5 now. Harper and Woogie, this is where you earn your salary. Crown on the hatch. Lots of info for LAVEGA and lots of players at the bottom main stairs, which is the powerful position for cutting this site in two. Great spot out. And they know exactly where this final player is. It's just Harper left. A flawless round for LAVEGA. Mandy, we might just have a game on our hands.
At last, we can see them in action, LAVEGA. Fantastic clear once again of the map, punishing those those Dplus Kia players that were looking for that room through the ground floor. It was really fantastic work for the entries to get in nice and early, cut off that main stairs position, make sure they can't be inside of lounge, make sure they can't rotate back through blue. It just felt like LAVEGA were really on the ball that time as the roam clear came through, and well, another successful attack onto that basement puts them 3 up in the series.
Righty tighty. I don't know whether I should get excited yet, Mandy. At what point do I get excited? How long do I have to reel myself in for?
I feel like you can get excited when you wish.
Oh wow, very boring answer
Perhaps?
from you, but okay.
Well, look, this is exciting, okay? Because Dplus Kia are still doing.
So you're excited already,
business,
but you're not giving me permission to be excited yet.
Well, look, who am I to tell you what to do? You're your own person.
I asked you to tell me what to do.
Play-by-play.
Well, thanks for your input, Mandy. I'll put that in written notice and get back to you within 3 to 5 business days. LAVEGA,
I look forward to hearing back from you.
Kind regards, Amanda. All right, LAVEGA, you've got the advantage now. What are you going to be able to do with it? A roundup on your attacking side. Dplus on their defense. This is where they should have success. On their attack the other day, they struggled against BSG. So what are they going to be able to do to come back here? I do realistically think Dplus needs a 3-3 half to have a reasonable shot at winning this map.
I think that's exactly right. Rainbow Six is the tale of two halves, and well, Dplus Kia, if they keep up the silly business, LAVEGA could definitely be on their backs. We've got, I think it's a 2 or 3 man hold here inside of Rafters from Dplus Kia. It's a 2-man hold inside of Rafters, in fact, which is going to mean that taking Garage is going to be pretty scary for LAVEGA. Now, good for them. They are starting out on that pressure on the other side of the map instead, trying to make this push as multifaceted as they possibly can.
It's actually been a hot minute since Dplus played a 3-map series. The most recent time I can find was back in the 6 Invitational qualifier where they lost 2-1 to Fnatic. So most of the times they either get 2-0'd or win 2-0. Imali's going in now on the Ash. Great shot there on the tight angle. Yas once again an opening death for Dplus. Is evened out in terms of the man count with Crown going down, and that is the pivotal hard breach, and not sure what still remains to be opened up. But there you go, once again opening up the round. Second kill with the G36. LAVEGA are looking good.
Yeah, and Dplus here playing a way too overconfident setup there. Harper was completely stuck inside of his position inside of bathroom. There was no way he could rotate off with all of these LAVEGA players starting to suffocate him and go for those trades and crossfires to clear him out with some utility as well. Great grenade to sink onto his position. Now they can start to make their way towards the bomb site as well. Con Wall will be their next point of contest, and well, there simply is not enough Dplus Kia players to be putting that pressure from below through that hatch. LAVEGA are going to have this control of the bomb site pretty easily, but like you said, Heartbreach going down is going to make this a little bit of a funnel.
This is where I want to see Dplus get proactive. They can't just sit here on site and wait for the push to happen. They might have denied the majority of a breach here on the CCTV wall, and that could enable a bit of aggression within CC. I think they need to start getting this man advantage back on their side. 15 seconds to go, and LAVEGA must make the first move in the 4v3, and they do! Woogie's found one, and the SMG-11 bros spring into action. All that's needed is Yas's 2 Frostmats from the grave. The opening death delivers in the end round.
And the prophecy was true from you as well, because you said, well, Dplus Kia need to start getting aggressive in the push. Wookieman identified, oh, they're not getting that con wall open. Let me get back inside a caster and play that power position instead. Dplus Kia made full use of the space that they were able to reclaim back by not having that hard breach and by not having those walls open. And just like you said, as that execute came through, it was a massive funnel for LAVEGA, and Dplus Kia able to hold on to such pivotal power positions, were able to shut that down with ease.
Well, well, well. Look at what we have here. Dplus. And to win a round like that when they really shouldn't have, losing the first 2 openings from a 3v5 to a 3v none. That might give them the confidence they need to have a bit more teeth on their attacks than they did the other day against PSG.
Looking towards this LAVEGA defense though, and once again they are looking to repeat, they are looking to go to the CCTV and cache bomb site, but bringing along quite a different philosophy to what Dplus Kia were able to bring when they deployed this defense instead, right? We've got the Kaid on the wall instead, we've got the smokes with the Wamai, and not only that, but we even have the Mozzie and Legion looking for the roams of their own rights. This is a much more extended defense for LAVEGA compared to what Dplus Kia were looking for. Their stuff was much more concentrated on the top floor, whereas these guys are holding on to a lot more of the map.
Like seeing the Monty pick though, the Dplus. Also the Capitao as well. What I'm expecting here is once the breach is open, it's going to be a garage-centric take using the incendiary from the Cap and that Monty in tandem to clear out that Rafters position and look for an execute from there. But of course, step one is this breach.
That's actually really quick work of the wall as well, so that they're just looking for where that electric claw might be placed. It seems like, oh, never mind, they are still going to trick this wall anyway, even though there is no electric claw down. They don't want any of the hard breach of Soldier to be tricked in this position, so they're going to play it safe and get it open from here instead.
Right, in comes the soft breach from Harper, a couple flashes. And I think there must have been a bulletproof camera there, now cleared. Indeed, you can see in the top right-hand corner of your screen, the BPC has been destroyed. Now it's up to Guard to try and hold on to Rafters, but he's about to be in a world of hurt. Once this Monty and the Capitao start springing into action, but wow, nice impact nade. Takes a hunk of damage away from Coded, but still he stands.
Oh, but look at that. That's such a great secondary breach of that Selma charge, opening up the other garage wall as well. It's fully exposing that garage plate. He only has the tiniest little square inch of space on that Rafters left for him to play safely.
Coded continuing to give information, sees the player on the steps, takes a bit of damage, and now one impact would finish him. Or perhaps a bit of C4, a bit of gas. There are still 2 C4s in the lineup. Fortunately, Guard has none of them, but he does get the pick. He just needs to land 1 bullet to get the kill on the Monty here. This is really awkward now, but he overextends and Soldier punishes from that long line of sight that you mentioned earlier.
And there it is, one more player on the mini garage stairs is going to be cut off by Harper, who is starting to make his way towards that blue window. Soldier, of course, with the diffuser in hand, entering in through garage. Now, the plan here is to go for a default plan, but what they have to keep in mind is that Damali still has a C4 in hand. So if they want to go for something in a really exposed, obvious position from the ground below, they're going to get shot down.
Oh, they see him! Damali goes down! That's perfect from Dplus. It immediately eliminates that X factor Now it's just gas left for Crown, one in pocket. Coded cannot afford to sniff it for even a moment. 13 seconds, no time. Get off your drones and get in the building. Looks like they're going to have to play on the offensive here on their attacking side. 3v3, but Soldier finds the opening that's needed. Harper looks to back it up, but can't as of yet. Looking to hold the cross now. The plant cannot go down. Not in time, and so LaVEGA holds on to the round.
Really fantastic plants and from the side of LaVEGA. They had so much left in their hands. They had all 3 smoke canisters. Not only that, but they, like we said earlier, they had the pressure of Demalia with the C4 down below as well. It really stunted Dplus in their tracks, right? Even though that they had Rafters control, they couldn't go for the plant, and they knew exactly why. We saw them try and shut down the C4, but there simply wasn't enough time to wait out all of those smoke canisters. Keep in mind, each one keeps up for like maybe 12 towards 15 seconds, and so with such little time on the board, it was only 30 seconds by the time that Soldier was trying to get the bomb down. There was no way that they were able to get it down safely.
I'm not sure if you spotted it. I thought I heard a goo mine detonate at the last moment. And I thought that maybe that was... Yeah, I think maybe there was a goo mine on the default plant spot, and as they ran on into plant, they couldn't, obviously, because you got to pull out that goo mine first. So that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, the final layer that got Dplus. I have to go back and forensically analyze the bot for that one.
5 seconds left.
And there we go now, LaVEGA with a successful defense able to change over their bomb site and hold onto that gym and bedroom position instead. Now, we've got Dplus up. They're bringing along quite a lot of tools to try and deal with this LaVEGA defense. They know that LaVEGA, they love their shields, and well, in fact, they have 2 shields in their lineup, on the Frost and on the Smoke, and they've brought along the Flores to deal with it. Not only that, but they have ample hard breach as well in the lineup of the Maverick, of Soldier on those Selma charges with the Ace as well. It just feels like so far, Dplus Gear have got the tools that they need to meet LaVEGA's defense.
Oh, nice attempt there, mate. There you go, second time's the charm. Now, I'm very curious to see if these Valcams will have an impact. I think, yeah, so like you said, the IQ Coded may have spotted one. I think he's taken that out, not entirely sure. I just noticed the Valcams actually don't appear on the top right-hand corner like all the other util does. I guess it's only secondary gadgets that appear.
Unfortunately, so we do not get to see all of the utility that LaVEGA are bringing. But like I said, back to my point, it feels like with these Dplus Gear lineup, there's like an immediate one-to-one interaction with a bit of attack utility that deals with the defender utility, right? You've got the IQ for the Valkyrie, you have the Flores for the Frost, and for the Smoke, right? You have the walls that are going to be able to open up a wall regardless of whether there is a KU'd on it or something like that. It just feels like Dplus Gear kind of have all the steps already planned out. It's just about making the execution work in time.
Yeah, I rate that. I do enjoy that. Taking a bit of map control, spotting out the shield top red, spotting out the player in cash as well. Harper's actually struggled to get on the scoreboard so far, 1 and 5. I mean, not usually the forefront of operations for DK, but still, especially playing an operator like the Sledge using those nades, you'd hope that he'd find a bit more success. Woogie's actually spotted this player downstairs. It's Marine trying to make his way up. And looks like he's actually barricaded this up. Surely, is Woogie there? Woogie would have heard that, but not close enough to deliver the blow yet. Dmali has found Coded on the balcony. No more IQ, no more scanning. LaVEGA looking pretty good right now.
And this is where I'm starting to get worried for Dplus Gear as well. Even though they had so many tools in their hand, they kind of haven't set themselves up very well to use it. Harper's able to trade one back, at least with a lurk on the other side of the building, but not before being traded out by guard. Now Woogie creeping his way up the main stairs is able to take yet another one down, evening out the man count, but Dplus Gear have got to go for their execute.
Yeah, but Woogie has the perfect position, and Soldier on the entry has done damage. Wally traded now, just guard left. Doesn't matter, he's been holding top red the whole round, but he's found the pivotal pick onto Yas. Once again, Yas letting it slip for Dplus, but Woogie is back on the hunt. No worries, he says. And he can get one step closer to tying up the scoreline for Dplus.
I was getting real worried for them there, Dev. It did not feel like they had a whole lot of control of the map, but eventually these singular pushes for Dplus Gear actually worked out super well from them. They had all 5 players try and segment and deal with their own part of the map. We had Harper on his own looking for the lurk. We had Woogieman on his own, for example, down inside of that ground floor coming up through the basement, through the main stairs. Not only that, but we had pressure of 2 players on the windows too. It just felt like each Dplus tier player was pretty proficient at the one position that they were playing on the attack and just probed their way into the bomb site. Eventually that opened up all the opportunities for them and they were able to execute.
Yeah, once again though, Yas, like, I don't know what he was doing. Was he deliberately trying to hold the angle? Like, why would you go prone in gym like that? Genuine question, Yas. No hate.
No hate.
I feel like after we praised him so much in map 1, I feel like it's only fair that we give it to him a little bit in map 2.
I think so as well. Look,
Keep him
this
humble.
Guy, yeah, keep him in his place, lowly player.
That's what I got told in the briefing. I was like, hey, so you're going to become a caster, step 1, always, have a go at the players and pretend that you know best. When in reality, you're like a gold 3. That's how it works.
Of course, casters know how to play the game. We know exactly what's going on. All jokes aside, Dplus Kia are looking for what is a pretty unconventional execute onto this basement bomb site serve. They've brought along the Fuse, the Glaz, and the Monty. There's no hard reach in this lineup aside from the 2 tin can openers of Soldier. It makes me curious what they might go for with this lineup.
I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be cool, that's for sure. I just love seeing this Glaz play. Saw it a little bit in map 1 and it was successful. Interesting that the only operator bringing the smokes is the Monty. I'm pretty sure Finka still has smokes these days, so could have brought the smokes on her. Obviously, really want the nades on the Glaz, so it's hard to justify bringing the smokes there. Marina's retreating back to site. As there is a breach on dirt, it must have been droned clear. Coda's just going to march on forward.
Oh, he's going to be met by a barricade on the other side, though. But where is the rest of the Dplus Kia train? Are they following up behind him, or are they going to try and take somewhere else? Oh no, but it feels like LAVEGA totally know what's going on.
And there is the Glaz. No smoke to cover at the moment. 3 players here in dirt. And 1 close on the left-hand side. Yas spots him out. Crown goes down. The smoke, the most important operator, has been eliminated. But Harper goes down in response from guard, feeling that pressure now as the E1D reveals the position of any moving players on LAVEGA. Desperate now to hold on to this map control, hold on to the site. Dplus have made their way on inside, and Wookie Man is lurking in from blue.
And the diffuser in the hands of Coded as well can start to go down inside of that Arsenal position. Double down now inside of blue for Wally, and he's able to find the pick onto Woogie Man, onto the retake now.
C4 is huge though, and it does take down Coded. There's a massive opportunity now for LAVEGA. A 1v3 for Yas, and the beautiful pre-fire gets it done. Not sure if they're aware, I don't... No, they definitely are. They're definitely aware. That's... Well, I love that for LAVEGA. What a retake.
God was like, hold up boys, I want my 1. I need this. This is important to me. Oh, fantastic retake from LAVEGA. You absolutely do have to secure your ones. A Dplus Kia looking for a pocket strat execute onto that basement bomb site. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out in their favor. An excellent retake from the LAVEGA players. They really quickly identified that, hang on a second, the bomb site is about to be hit and they needed to come back and play the site, and playing adjacent in positions inside of blue, inside of long, places that there were no Dplus Kia plays, there was no pressure coming from there. They were able to make the space and the real estate that they had really work out for them as that execute from dirt came through, and eventually LAVEGA closed out that round.
Dplus take their tactical timeout. They should be pretty confident that Cache CCTV is next up on the chopping block, as it's just unlocked now for LAVEGA. Last time Dplus attacked that site, it was so very close. A goo mine won the round by denying that plan after Dplus looked to be in such a strong position. Now they have to wonder, what will the round be? It looks like we're actually going to bar. I mean, I don't read Korean, but I see the 1 there, and I assume that means first floor. So I think we're going to bar here for LAVEGA, so I quite like this. If Dplus have been talking strategically about what's going on for the Cache CCTV site, will have been a partially wasted tactical timeout. I really hope it was just a chance to resynchronize and resettle, because they're going to have to start talking about what they're going to do about this bar attack.
Well, LAVEGA could definitely be throwing them off guard. As they go over to Bar and Sage instead. There you go. Leaning into these long lines of sight, we've got the castles set up, and he's able to use that secondary shotgun to really crack open the entire bomb site. It's going to be very dangerous for Dplus Kia to go for that execute, even if they want to do something from stock side. We just saw in the top down earlier that the castle's actually chosen to open up the line of sight in that wall instead of keeping it closed, and that's going to make this execute really, really scary when push comes to shove.
I wonder what Woogie's going to cook up on this knock as well. Banned on map 1. Now present on map 2. A lot of util on site to clear on out. Quite like Yas on this Jackal pick as well. It looks like DK are really going to lean into a bit of a lurk here. Presence up in logistics as Harper is going to quickly smack this castle barricade and put that pressure on Kitchen.
I really like this from Dplus Kia, being unpredictable in the push that they're going for, right? They're not going to go for a map sweep. They've seen that stock is pretty tough to go into, so you don't want to do something really linear from CC side, for example. Just probe the map, see what control you can get, try and find a pick aided by some of that Jackal scans, and then open up the round from there, see your opportunities.
These teams really love their impact tricks, don't they? Once again, a bit of a disruption to Ace's breach on the jacuzzi wall, but eventually opened up. Coded's also able to open up that castle barricade onto Bar. Soldier does have one Selma left to potentially breach the position that the Maestro is playing, and there it is. This is going to make it very uncomfortable for Guard to play right there. He peeks on out, but as does Yas, sending it straight on in top of main stairs. Finds one before traded back. But Harper on the logistics hatch is able to get this back and going again for Dplus. They're just everywhere all at once. 4v1 now. Wally in unenviable position. On the bomb site, on the Oryx, not a lot of util to speak of. Feeling awkward, feeling that pressure, just trying to slip sleazily away from that bomb site. Look for a 1v1. Dplus have the time. And they have the killing blow again. Dplus Kia, once again, keeping pace with LAVEGA.
And once again, looking for that probe attack into that top floor really opened up all of their options, right? They didn't telegraph doing some kind of linear sweep or map clear or something like that. All they did was directly attack that top floor, opening up the breach, putting pressure on the windows, putting pressure through logistics hatch, for example, meant that there had to be a LAVEGA player watching each and every point of the entry. And what we saw was really the crucial point that started and compounded the attack for Dplus Kia, and that was Yas hopping in through that jacuzzi breach, taking main stairs control, and alongside of him, all the Dplus players jumped down at the same time and looked for the execute onto the top floor. That is the power of having your IGL and your captain figure at the spearhead of the push. He can call exactly what plan he's going for, and every single one of the Dplus players can compound with their own action.
I can just hear in your voice, Maddie, how much you love this Dplus playstyle. You love the way that Yas is IGLing the team while being the entry.
So
you absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It makes so much sense in the current way that Rainbow Six plays out. Now, not to say, Korea, they play quite a different meta to the rest of the Rainbow Six regions, in my opinion. But I think that having your IGL on the backline operator is that sort of starting to go out of date with the way that Rainbow Six is playing on the attack, especially with attacker repick. You have so many options, right? There are so many different ways to attack bomb sites, and if you have your IGL on a player that can either flex between different operators or is actually inside of that push, it opens up so many chances for executes that you might not get if you're on a support player and you couldn't see the front line, right? So that's why I really like Dplus Kia having their IGL on the front line instead.
The breach for Dplus on this jacuzzi wall as we go up to Jim for the bomb site. Coded snuck in to Dirt early in the round, has actually snuck past that ground floor or the basement camera. Being live droned here, if there's a player in Bar, surely this is the opening for Dplus. The drone likely to spot the player in a second. Marine has absolutely no clue, and Coded eventually gets him. No one on that Bar camera to assist. A great opening pick. Marine's going to have to sit on his cams for the rest of this round.
Yeah, and once again, Dplus Kia doing a great job at injecting their players inside of the building, aided by pre-placed and aided by live drones. Now they can start to make use of this top floor closer to the bomb site now, opening up the logistics hatch and seeing what they can get open exterior of the building first. If you don't have to put your gun up...
no!
Oh no, yes. Oh no, yes. That is not good. Unfortunately, the parkour for him, not quite working out. Soldier at least is there to save him. But
it was
a little bit of an embarrassing moment for Yes.
It was being part-time Spider-Man on that position, looking to take that aggressive angle through Logi, but forgot that he didn't deploy his web, so just fell on down. How unfortunate.
No, poor Yes. We were hyping him up so much as well, and he goes and does that for us.
I mean, he's an absolute machine. Like, look at his KD right now, 12 and 9. But he is not adverse to taking risks, and that's what makes him such an amazing player.
He's certainly not averse to it, and Dplus Kia once again looking for this push onto the gym and bedroom site, but not really telegraphing what they're doing. They've barely opened up any of the map. LAVEGA, they're kept guessing. They have to look at every point of entry and assess exactly what are Dplus Kia going for, but really, there's only 30 seconds left for them to try and do something.
To get map point, or to get match point for Dplus, LAVEGA fighting from the man disadvantage. Dmali is waiting for Wookie Man, goes for the peek, but loses his one. And this could be so pivotal. Harper worried about a peek from inside a CCTV, but push is coming to shove. And Dplus are coming up in spades. It's just Wally left, the Frostmat to get one, him to get a second. And now it's all up to Wookie Man, but a quick spray secures the match point for Dplus Kia.
And once again for Dplus Kia looking for a probe attack onto the map, taking their individual one-to-one-to-ones, all 5 players executed from their own entry point going into the map, and they backed themselves in to win their gunfights. And well, because it was so unexpected, they absolutely did. We saw so many backstabs in that top down as Dplus Kia went for the execute. Even a Soldier couldn't quite get the bomb down into the site by the time that it came down, push to shove. 3 versus 1, you have enough redundancy in the man count to be able to clean up that final player in the dying seconds of the round. And Dplus Kia, once again, unpredictability is the name of the game, and it nets them yet another round.
Oh, Mandy, after LAVEGA had such a strong start, Dplus have fought from this deficit to now get not only map point, but series point, elimination point for LAVEGA. I mean, it would be so painful to push this hard and not push OT, not push to map 3. It just feels so deserving after what LAVEGA have been able to achieve, particularly on their attack here of Clubhouse. But their defense has proven to be so much more difficult. They've lost 3 so far. They need to show something new, show something different on this Church Arsenal. Otherwise, Dplus is going to dismiss them without too much of a second thought.
And I think the thing with the LAVEGA defense is that we're seeing very much such a similar sentiment to what was happening on Skyscraper, right? When they were playing Skyscraper, they were playing a super conservative setup. They weren't really contesting Dplus Kia early on in the round, and they gave them so much real estate. It feels like it's kind of happening all over again, right, Dev? It feels like they're not holding on to too much of the map control. This time we do have an early player in that top floor that Dplus Kia have got to clear out, but Coded is able to sneak his way in with the Nook.
I love the variety and the depth that we see from all of these players on DK. Anyone could be on Hard Breach, anyone could be on Lurk. That's what makes this lineup so devastatingly powerful. And this time it's Coded on that knock. Yas on the Dockerby, so a little bit of free information when those logic bombs come out. I quite like it. The step 1, of course, is breaching this top floor.
But look at this from LAVEGA, Dev. They've already fallen back all the way down into the bomb site. All 5 players now sitting comfortably with their anchor friends, and Dplus Kia have been given full reign of the map. Now, the buck in hand of Harper would indicate to me that they're going to go down into kitchen, start to play that vertical, but keep in mind they only have 2 of those hard breach charges, and so Wookie Man has got to trick a 3rd one if they want to get open all 3 hatches, and that's going to take quite some time.
It feels like Dplus are kind of getting a taste of their own medicine here. We were talking constantly about how LAVEGA, particularly on Skyscraper, just like took a really long time to achieve a lot of these goals. So I quite like that adaptation from LAVEGA. But now DK spring into action. They get to work. We see what they can do with this secondary hard breach. But Coded has been caught out. Dmali, I don't know whether he climbed up the ladder or whether he snuck up there previously, but he takes down that knock. That's such a pivotal player That backstab effect is now nullified.
Not only that, but Dplus Kia still have so much left of this mid-round to work through as well. Still, both the heartbeat charges of Harper are inside of his hands, and Boogeyman is only just starting to trick this Moto hatch as well, but there's really only 40 seconds left for them to do it.
Ooh, would you look at that, Wally? The guts to go for the peek through the hatch. Soldier's lost his life, and now man advantage for LAVEGA. 5v3, Dplus are going to have to go bananas here. Yas detonates the logic bomb and then walks on into sight, straight on through the rotate hole. Could you ask for anything better than this? The gas is going to make this so awkward for him. And his teammates are dropping like flies. Just him and Woogie now to re-pick up that diffuser and get the job done. Walking to the two-way crossfire, cannot get them both. LAVEGA push us into overtime.
I actually really like that from LAVEGA. They started out on what was not too heavy of a roam, but finding the opportunity to retake onto Coded's position. Remember, the Nook is often the lone player. He's kind of chilling. So you know that when you go and battle out that Nook, there's probably not going to be someone there for the trade. No one's holding his flanks. No one's there holding a crossfire or something like that. And so isolating that 1v1 through the mid-round as Dplus Kia are taking their time is an excellent bit of the attack to identify for LAVEGA. And now they've pushed us into overtime off the back of a great defense.
This is a huge moment for this team to push map 3 against a name as big as Dplus, against players as experienced as Yas, Woogie, Harper and Soldier. Coded. This is a stacked lineup they're going up against, and here is the humble LAVEGA, promoted into Korea Open last year, only really barely made it through into the playoffs by taking down Spear, despite losing to both Sandbox and Panthera. Now, with an opportunity to push to map 3 within their grasp, they don't want to let this one slip.
That's exactly right for LAVEGA. Where are they going to take us to next? It is overtime now, so everything has been reset and they can go where they please. And it seems like going back down to the basement will be their bomb site of choice. Makes sense, they have just won this one out pretty cleanly, almost flawlessly in fact. And so going back down there, if it ain't broke, then fix it.
Yeah, but it's going to be quite the opposite for DK, right? Like, if it didn't work last time, change tack, we've seen so much depth in the attacks for Dplus Kia. Coded on the Ash this time. I mean, that's not really that much of a departure from the Nook, to be honest. I don't know what is going to be different on the attack this time around.
Look, he's gone from sneaky and fast to loud and fast. Oh, you're on the Ash, right?
Well, he's on the IQ now, so he's actually changed again. I wonder if that's going to be primarily good for finding these yokais, right? Otherwise, can be a bit troublesome.
For sure, that's exactly right. If you identify where the yokai drones are before you go for the execute, then you can comm that to teammates and say, okay, maybe we shouldn't go for a kitchen execute if there's a yokai drone inside the kitchen that we cannot kill, right? It's like the same thing the other way around. Maybe if there's some pressure inside of church, but oh, look at that. Coded's actually being able to spot a player inside of the rafters with that IQ scanner as he's got on the cameras.
That is some amazing info gathering from IQ, and a second player spotted at top red, so already Dplus know about this roam. I'm not sure if they've been able to catch out the roamer. Yas has already found one. The Crown has done some damage elsewise. I believe that must have been through a hole in the floor. Onto Harper. Crown's got an aggressive now on the back of his pick. What is the play now for Dplus? Are they aware of where that roamer went? There were two before, and now there appears to be none remaining.
So a really important part about taking down Harper is that they've also taken down the vertical, and they've taken down the two hard breach charges as well. So the options for Dplus Kia on the attack onto this basement bomb site are really starting to close down. You've only got 3 Selma charges, actually less. I think it's only 2 on Soldier since he used 1 on the CCTV breach, which means they can only get open 1 hatch, or they can only get open the triple wall, or something like that, right? Options, very limited now for Dplus Kia.
So what should they go for then? Because committing to the kitchen hatch, like you said, would use all their remaining hard breach. It's just a really scary prospect, especially when there's a potential for the impact trick. Guard still has 2 in pocket. Oh, it's just such a tough decision.
Well, I think their decision making is going to be aided by this IQ, right? She's going to be able to see all the utility through the floor, and she's going to identify what the easier bomb site is to go for now. Is that going to be Church, or is that going to be Arsenal? And it seems like Church is going to be the play. They're going to dedicate both of these Selma charges to the Moto hatch, and then maybe come down the main stairs instead. They have really no other options now other than to go for a flood through Church, or maybe to combine that with a blue push.
This is going to be scary, Maddie. This is the only hatch open. Now Yas to send out a nade. This could find a kill as well as the shield. And it does indeed get the down. That is absolutely massive. Now a nade over the top. Oh! Does not quite make it all the way over the top, unfortunately for Yas. 30 seconds now.
Oh, and he's able to make a sneaky way in as they try to go for the revive. The shock to come through from the yokai drone will stun him, and Marine can clean it up instead, but not before Wookie Man can come down blue. 1 on 3 now for Dplus Kia, but they can close it out in clean fashion.
Absolutely phenomenal there in the latter half of that round for Dplus. How about it? Only enough hard breach for one hatch, no worries at all, and they find match point.
That was really fantastic work from them. I mean, they knew that they only had one condition to win out that round, and that was to go for a flood, because there's no way that they had enough hard breach to choke out the bomb site. There's no way they had enough hard breach to go for a kitchen execute, because that also means you need to, you need to be able to flood it with utility too. They couldn't play the vertical because there's no more buck. So they just had the one option, and they dedicated themselves to it. That's off the back of Coded being able to play that IQ, see exactly what's going on inside the bomb site, what kind of things are on the wall, what kind of things are inside of blue, to be able to call for his teammates. All right, when you get there, this is what you need to expect, right? It's just such fantastic work from Dplus Gear to identify the one win condition they had and play it all together as a 4-man.
Now LAVEGA have to attack for the very first time in quite some time. And they're going up to this gym bomb site, which in fact was the very first round of this map. It was Dplus taking that defense. You remember that really aggressive shotgun work from Coded. It was a nice flawless round. For LAVEGA, they really need to recompose here after fumbling the bag in that round prior, because Dplus are poised to take it.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Here we go now on match point, and they're actually going to bring along the mirror as well, which I think is a pretty interesting choice here. You don't have Hibana, and you don't have Thermite in hand, so the only things are Selmas. And Selmas are so important and such a little crucial, rare piece of utility, right? You need to use the Selmas on the Jacuzzi wall, you need to use the Selmas on the CC wall, and on the con wall. So that's 3 external walls, right? If you put your mirror windows internal on the map rather than external, you're not going to have enough Selmas to deal with them. So I think that Soldier bringing along this and putting them inside a bathroom, putting them inside a lodgy is actually a really smart idea.
So LAVEGA now, what are you going to be able to sink your teeth into here? This extension proves quite meddlesome to deal with. Now it's time to just deal with this breach first up. New jammers are making it a little bit more awkward now. They don't know what kind of util is on the other side, where that electric claw might be. When Thatcher can make this easy, but if it's a bandit, which we know it isn't, but they don't, then they could be facing the bandit juggle. You're going to have to use a EMP just to get rid of that mute jammer so they can just find out information. I don't have enough hard reach to really afford to make a mistake here. They take the gamble and just go for the breach regardless.
I'm going to repeat my point here about this mirror window. Because both Selma charges have been used on the external breach. Okay, hang on a moment. There's some action going down inside of Ash instead. Somali able to make that entry work on the other side of the map. And now LAVEGA in the man advantage. But look at how difficult this bomb site is going to be to crack into, Dev. Both those mirror windows fully indestructible. No more hard breach left to deal with it. There's a minute left on the clock. LAVEGA have the manage in their favor, so that's one thing they have going for them if they maybe want to go for a flood. But really, those mirror windows ain't going down.
Well, man advantage is in hand for LAVEGA if they do go for this flood. But Yas has been aggressively playing this breach, not passively playing the mirror window. He shot out drones, he's denied information. We can see there's only a few drones left for LAVEGA, just 3. Marina's going to have to go big with this buck DMR.
Scary though, pressure from outside the windows. LAVEGA, they want to time this perfectly. There's only 4 of them, but there's 3 of them on Kia. They have to play these refrags to perfection if they want to close it out.
It's going to be a game of trades. As Marine marches on forward, Dimali as well, he's the player to put the pressure on Logistic. That's where that mirror of Soldier is facing. Marine's not going to be safe to get in. while he still stays alive. Guard as well in the same boat. And that's a perfect pre-placed C4 from Coded on the back of the call. Now is Soldier ready for this backstab? I don't think he is, and D Marley gets him. Yas has sprung up again. It's now Yas versus 2, but there's no time left. GG's in the chat. LAVEGA couldn't get it done. Dplus take the 2-0.
And such a valiant effort from them as well to go for that last second flood, the last second attempt in the 4-on-3, almost perfectly played with the trades, but who else but Yas to close it out on time, of all things, perfectly played by him.